The most fundamental goals of BRIC members are the same. They are interested in sustainable development, in equity, in security. We might see impulses to globalize coming from various parts of the world, and of course China will play a very important role in this development. This year, the BRICS Summit will take place in Brazil, and we hope that the process that was launched in Kazan last year will continue with the Brazilian chairmanship. Of course, Brazil has a number of other important events this year. For instance, they will have to host the COP meeting, so there is a competition of priorities. However, we believe that it would be important to go ahead with the implementation of the Kazan Declaration that was adopted in October of last year. It's an important document, and it's important to keep the momentum and to make sure that with every year we make yet another step ahead in the institutional development of BRICS. I think that earlier BRICS focused primarily on general political statements, assessing the developments in the world or particular international problems. I think the time has come to move from these general declarations to more specific decisions, to roadmaps, to business plans, to detailed programs on specific issues which BRICS countries are engaging. For instance, a lot has been said about integrating national payment systems of BRICS countries. And this is not an easy question because historically every or almost every BRICS member developed its own payment system, and to merge them, to integrate them, will require a lot of technical effort, a lot of cooperation between experts on international finance and on information technologies. And there are many issues like that. We can talk about the energy transition, we can talk about food security, we can talk about general traditional security matters. On each of these important issues, they have to come up with specific suggestions to move things ahead. Well, first of all, I think that BRICS will remain a very heterogeneous group, a very diverse group. And I think it should be regarded not as a source of their weakness, but rather as a source of their strength, because they represent different models of social, economic, political development. One can argue that they represent different civilizations, and I don't think that this is going to be changed. However, I think it remains a challenge how to make sure that these differences do not block movement towards common goals. And I think that a lot will depend on the quality of experts, a lot will depend on political commitment, a lot will depend on political will and stamina demonstrated by BRICS leaders. It will not be easy, but I think in the end of the day it is possible because the most fundamental goals of BRIC members are the same. They are interested in sustainable development, in equity, in security. So these fundamental interests should unite them in joint actions. Well, in theory, we cannot rule out this option of a new currency emerging, but it is definitely a very long process. And the international financial system has always been very conservative. So the first step should probably be to multilateralize the shift to national currencies. Because when you have this shift on the bilateral basis, you will confront many imbalances. For instance, Russia sells a lot to India, but buys not that much. That means that we accumulate a lot of Indian currency, and we cannot use this currency in our trade with other BRIC members. But if we have not a bilateral system, but rather a multilateral system, then these imbalances can be taken care of. So that should probably be the first step. Further on, we should move ahead, and maybe in the end of the day, we will get to a new currency, but it will definitely take a lot of time. Well, I think that for Russia, BRICS is arguably more important than for many other BRICS members, because Russia has entered a very sharp confrontation with its former Western partners. So it has to move ahead and to shift its priorities, working more with countries from the global south. One should also say that Russia is a very special member of BRICS, because Russia is not exactly a developing country. It traditionally was a part of the European community of nations. It was a part of G7. It constituted G8. So it has a very special status. It has never been a colony of the West. It has always claimed its independent role. So Russia faces special challenges. But as I said, I think for Russia it is particularly important to see BRICS moving ahead. And this is exactly why Russia invested so much energy and political capital in its chairmanship last year, which resulted with the Kazan Declaration. Well, first of all, I think that both sides should be proud of what they have already accomplished. It was a very significant breakthrough in terms of economic cooperation, in terms of political collaboration, in terms of social interaction. If you look at the dynamics of the Russia-China relations over the last 20 years, these dynamics was very impressive. And right now, I think we are approaching a new juncture at which we have to deepen this cooperation. For instance, if you take the economic dimension of this relationship, we used to focus primarily on basic trade, but we should gradually move from trade to more profound industrial cooperation. Well, I think that, first of all, it's important that China has come up with this initiative because that reflects a new role of the People's Republic of China in the international system. It can no longer be considered a regional or even a continental actor. It is a global actor which feels that it is responsible for the global strategic stability and for the security covering all the globe. Second, I think that the approach that this initiative envisages is the right one. We start with relatively incremental, relatively small confidence-building measures, and we gradually move to more sophisticated, more sensitive, and potentially more divisive issues. That's why I think it's really important to take this bottom-up approach, which would help to make a transition to the new security arrangement more orderly and less abrupt. I think that this initiative will be further elaborated and developed. And of course, China, like any other country, has to react to the new challenges that emerge in the security domain in Eurasia, but also in remote regions of the world. I do hope that the work along these lines will continue. Well, first of all, I think that this new globalization will not be linked to the US hegemony. Moreover, I would say that probably there'll be no such a clear distinction between the global core and the global periphery. We might see impulses to globalize coming from various parts of the world, and of course China will play a very important role in this development. Second, I think that this globalization will not be limited primarily to the financial domain. It would also include economic and social interaction. Civil society is likely to play a much more important role in this new cycle of globalization than it played in the globalization 20 or 30 years ago. I also believe that this globalization will be marked by more active engagement of non-state institutions. And that will be a new development. And of course, China is doomed to play a very central role in this process, because with many Western countries trying to get back to protectionism and even isolationism, China remains one of the key champions of interdependence and interconnectedness of the world.